Ladies and gentlemen, now to commence tonight's formal, please rise for the national anthem of Sri Lanka. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the lighting of the traditional oil lamp. Keeping in line with the traditions and culture of our nation, to enlighten this evening with the blissful light of the lamp of learning, on behalf of the Sri Lanka College of Pulmonologists, let me cordially invite the following dignitaries to light the traditional oil lamp. President of the Sri Lanka College of Pulmonologists, Dr. Niranjan Dissanayake. Our chief guest this evening, Dr. Anil Jasinghe, Secretary to the Ministry of Health and Mass Media. Our guest of honour this evening, Dr. Asela Gunawardena, Director General of Health Services. Our guest of honour, Professor Anita Simmons, Professor of Respiratory and Sleep Medicine, Imperial College, London. Our orator tonight, Professor David Denning. Academic Chair of SLCP, Professor Dushantha Malagadara. President-elect, Dr. Sundaralingam Rishikeshwaran. Vice President of the College, Dr. Sumana Hadagala. Immediate past President, Dr. Bodhika Samarasekara. Professor Makbul Ahmed Langov, Secretary General of the Pakistan Chess Society. Dr. Savarkar Khandi, Chair, International Affairs, Indian Chess Society. Dr. Mohammed Abdus Shakur Khan, Honorary Treasurer of the Bangladesh Lung Foundation. Dr. Lalita Peraswamy, Vice President of the Malaysian Thoracic Society. Professor Saman Nanayakara, Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, University of Peradeniya. Mr. Palika Navaratna, Headmaster of St. Thomas's College, Bangaravina. And Honorary Joint Secretaries College, Dr. Sachin Seneviratna and Dr. Upul Akiravan. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. May I now cordially invite the following dignitaries to take their positions at the head table. President of the Sri Lanka College of Pulmonologists, Dr. Niranjan Dissanayake. Our chief guest this evening, Dr. Anil Jasinghe. Guests of honour, Dr. Asela Gunawardena and Professor Anita K. Simmons.
Okay.
Thank you. Now I would like to invite Dr. Niranjan Dissanayake, the President of the Sri Lanka College of Pulmonologists for the year 2024-2025, to deliver the presidential address to this esteemed audience. Over to you, sir.
Our distinguished chief guest, Dr. Anil Jasinghe, Secretary to the Minister of Health and Mass Media. Guest of honor, Director General of Health Services, Dr. Asela Gunawardena. Guest of honor, Professor Anita Simmons, Consultant Respiratory Physician, Royal Brompton and Harefield NHS Trust, and Professor Emeritus, National Heart Lung Institute, Imperial College of London. Our orator for today, Professor David Dennings, Professor of Infectious Diseases in Global Health, Chief Executive, Global Action to Fungal Infections, and Professor of Infectious Diseases at University of Manchester. Professor Dushanta Madagedara, the Academic Chair and the Chair Professor of Medicine, University of Wyoming, and Consultant Pulmonologist, National Hospital Kandy. Distinguished past presidents of the college, council members, presidents and members of the other professional colleges, deans of medical faculties and academia, ministry officials, members of the Uragoda family, together with my family, distinguished invitees including the headmaster and school teachers of St. Thomas's College, Bandarwell, senior management from the industry, ladies and gentlemen. Ayubowan. May you live long. That is the blessing that we invoke in a person whom we meet in the traditional Sri Lankan time. But with this person to live longer, he should have an appropriate quality of life, or else that life that is lengthened will not be of any use to him or society. I cannot emphasize more on the importance of having a breath, a clean breath, where you can breathe in without any hindrance, any fear that it will damage your lung. And at the same time, everybody should possess a functionally normal lung where they can live without any hindrance. Even though, as pulmonologists, we consider the lung as the center of our universe, it is truly, in a sense, it is the center of the human being. And with this in mind, I basically, when we took over the council in 2024, we thought of having this slogan where we, as Sri Lankan pulmonologists, would stand for the right of each and every citizen of Sri Lanka for the right to breathe free, devoid of polluted air, devoid of chronic lung diseases that might affect them in the long run. And hence, in my presidential address, we would like to look at the past, be at the present, and see how we can improve, and then we will forge towards a beautiful future, especially in pulmonology, where we can do immensely to uplift the patients or people's respiratory health in Sri Lanka. So, our Chief Guest, Health Secretary Sir, as well as our Director General Health Services, we have a very vibrant health system in Sri Lanka, which we all can be proud of. Our maternal mortality rates, infant mortality rates, the length of life of a woman and a man lives in Sri Lanka is almost in par with foreign countries, which has a very high GDP than us. But when you look at the respiratory health, there is a lot to improve, and I'm really proud of you to have both of you here so that we will be able to have a beautiful plan within the next few years. Now, when we look at the future, it is always important to remember our major contributors that made us this college up to this level. So this is the original document that gave birth to the Sri Lanka College of Pulmonologists. And you can see the stalwarts, or that means the major consultants who have been founder members of our society. And still they are with us today, advising us, advising for how to improve and creating advocacy and managing our patients in an appropriate way. And from there onwards, each and every past president of the Sri Lanka College of Pulmonologists did a brilliant job each year, sometimes in spite of having tremendous challenges in delivering these treatments as well as management options for our patients. So we are, you can see the star lineup of past presidents that we have, some of them who are in the audience today, and I think we should pay homage to them for the college that we are today. I'm very passionate about asthma. One of the major reasons is that, as this August audience will agree, asthma is a highly prevalent disease in Sri Lanka. Unfortunately, even though it is at the moment is highly prevalent, majority of them who have been diagnosed of asthma, unfortunately, are not properly controlled of asthma in Sri Lanka. And at the same time, we have the 10th highest death rate in the world due to asthma, even though we have very good infrastructure in place. So there are a lot of deaths due to asthma as well. So one of the reasons being that you can see in the left right corner where majority of the patients with asthma have to spend money from their hand to get the most appropriate treatment and the inhalers that they have. So we are really fortunate to have our Director General of Health Services who helped us immensely in bringing the guideline-based management of asthma treatment into the primary care setting this year. So hopefully we will be able to give our patients the best possible management for asthma during the next year, and hopefully we will be able to reduce this burden of unnecessary expense to the patients, and we can improve the asthma outcomes in this country. And one of the important things is neglecting what we call mild asthma, and then the overuse of salbutamol inhaler causing increased mortality and morbidity. And in that aspect, we wanted to educate our doctors, general practitioners, as well as our medical colleagues, and we had a beautiful program line up throughout the year where our colleagues involved in various talks on asthma and online talks on asthma to improve the knowledge base of our doctors throughout the country. Tuberculosis is considered a poor man's disease. Unfortunately, in the 1900s, we actually had, with a 2 million population in Sri Lanka, we had about 4,000 deaths of tuberculosis in 1900s. And we were able to bring it down gradually. And by 2000, we had 62 per 100,000 incidence or prevalence of tuberculosis. So due to our activities and the healthcare system, we were able to control tuberculosis to a certain extent. But since then, we are stagnating due to tuberculosis. And sir, that is one reason that we are going down in the health indices, because we have poor tuberculosis outcomes. Each day, we offer tuberculosis treatment free of charge for each and every person in Sri Lanka. Each day, at least 2 or 3 patients die because of tuberculosis. So we lose about 800 patients per year who are diagnosed of tuberculosis, who can be completely treated and cured. In the context of we having low HIV-TB prevalence, and at the same time, in the context of we having very low amount of multi-drug resistant tuberculosis in our country. So this is an important aspect that we have to look into in the future. For that, I think our Director General Health Services helped us immensely in bringing out the concept of long-stay wards for tuberculosis, because we saw that patients who are having tuberculosis with a low socioeconomic state were having malnutrition more than 75% of the time. They were having multiple comorbidities like uncontrolled diabetes, liver diseases, and renal functions. And these patients have multiple comorbidities, and majority of them, 50%, are above the age of 65 or 60. So these patients who are already severely ill needs proper assessment and treatment under a proper medical care. Then at least in the first 2 months, we will be able to provide them with appropriate nutritious meal, and then we will be able to look after them properly until they have at least the intensive phase is carried out forward. And one other important aspect that we have to highlight is the lack of critical care facilities to manage severe tuberculosis when they come. Even at this moment of time, in my ward in Kalukara, I have young patients who have come with severe pneumonia, lungs are completely destroyed, on inotropes, needing antibiotics, and we actually, at least in the major teaching hospitals or provincial general hospitals, if we have a critical care facility in which we can intubate, give high frequency oxygen for these patients, give intensive care for these patients, we will be able to save majority of the patients. Because none of the ICUs, because we know that in Sri Lanka we have a limited amount of ICU beds, and because of that, when a tuberculosis patient with acute tuberculosis goes to the ICU, they have concerns, obviously. Hence, they will not get the proper management. So if we have devoted infection control measures are taken, and if we have these ICUs or critical care facilities, I think we might be able to save most of these patients from death. Probably not all death. And at the same time, we took ourselves to educate our doctors about tuberculosis, having collaborations with HIV and sexual health disease colleagues, going out to Kandy and having a peripheral meeting under the patronage of Professor Dushanta Madagedara and our colleagues there. And we have been immensely working towards giving the knowledge and improving the attitude of tuberculosis in Sri Lanka. Not only me, the past presidents as well. COPD. There is a huge change in the management and the diagnosis of COPD in the world. And there are new guidelines that are coming, and the classifications are changing day by day. And fortunately, we expect by 2030 to have a huge amount of COPD in the world, and it is not different in Sri Lanka as well. In the Sri Lankan context, according to the studies done by Dr. Kirti Gunasekara mainly and our colleagues, we have identified that the cohort of tuberculosis in Sri Lanka are probably not male-oriented, male-predominant smoking cohort as in countries such as United Kingdom or USA, but we have a significant proportion of people we have females having COPD together with bronchiectasis. One of the main reasons for that is that we are exposed to biomass fuel from the young age, and these are damaging the lungs of females who have never even taken a cigarette into their mouth. And these patients have very poor outcomes, and because they have a lot of comorbidities with them. And until recently, we actually didn't have the most ideal treatment for COPD, probably up to about 2 years. We were managing them with the same way that we were managing asthma and asthma as well, with steroids sometimes. But during the last 2 years, we were able to introduce tiotropium into the healthcare system. And this year, we were able to introduce metered dose inhaler for tiotropium under your patronage and guidance. So hopefully within the next year, we will be able to improve our patients' outcome in COPD. And at the same time, we were improving the knowledge base of doctors, having collaborations throughout. And I'm happy our colleagues from the College of Physicians as well as the internal medicine colleagues are here. And we together, we can do miracles in controlling COPD. Not only the chronic COPD, by bringing in drugs. And this year, we were able to actually initiate the bringing of long-acting bronchodilators as well as long-acting muscarinic combinations as well as triple inhalers, probably not in the government sector, but at least in the private sector. It will be hopefully available with the help of our industry within the next year, and we will be able to change completely the outcomes of COPD patients together with pulmonary rehabilitation. I'm proud to say that most of our colleagues have started pulmonary rehabilitation, which is a guideline-proven mechanism where you can improve outcomes, especially in the Colombo Chest Clinic as well as in National Hospital Gaul, as well as various parts of our country. We have been able to initiate pulmonary rehabilitation clinics, and the outcomes have been improved as well. In the acute management of COPD, also we have been having a lot of workshops to improve the knowledge of these doctors on NIV, non-invasive ventilation, and hence we have been able to reduce a significant amount of morbidity as well as mortality in patients with COPD and other diseases. Bronchiectasis is unfortunately in Sri Lanka at most of the instances due to a sequelae of tuberculosis. So I think that if we control tuberculosis properly in Sri Lanka, these young people who have bronchiectasis and severe lung disease, we will be able to reduce the number of people who are having bronchiectasis. But at the same time, there are many other causes, and having advanced investigative facilities, as well as again physiotherapy input, trained physiotherapist, respiratory physiotherapist with us will help immensely in rehabilitating these patients, as well as rehabilitation hospitals or clinics if we start on that. Again, air pollution, the silent killer. According to the WHO statistics and calculations, 7 million people die prematurely each year due to air pollution. And Sri Lanka is not far away from that. It is basically a silent killer, and there are 4 main areas where air pollution occurs: industry, transport, waste disposal, as well as energy, and in the household where we use biomass fuel. So if we can address those aspects properly, identify each and every area, we can improvise and reduce the burden of air pollution by each and every aspect. I think we will be able to have a very good outcomes in the patient, and we have done a lot of advocacy during the last year to bring this up. Interventional pulmonology is another important area that we have improved markedly during the last 10 to 15 years. Our colleagues who are trained in the state-of-the-art centers throughout the world, in United Kingdom, in Australia, India, and Singapore, and other countries, are very conversant or very skillful in managing these complicated patients and advanced procedures that they do. And we, under our umbrella, we have the very competent thoracic surgeons with us who work with us in hand to hand to develop patients' outcomes and improve patients' outcomes, especially in the area of thoracic oncology and other conditions which we need the surgeon's hand to help us out in certain instances. So we didn't stop there. We were interested about the maternal health. Especially when we talk about maternal health, if you look at the maternal mortality data in Sri Lanka, respiratory diseases comes 1 or 2 in certain years due to infections, uncontrolled asthma, and pneumonia as being the most important aspect. So we identified this gap, and we had a collaborative workshop with our colleagues with obstetrician and gynecology on maternal respiratory health, a full day course where we were able to develop beautiful collaborations, and at the moment we are actually contemplating in recommending hopefully all pregnant ladies with the influenza vaccine, because it is one of the major causes of morbidity and mortality in pregnancy in Sri Lanka. But unfortunately we don't provide it in the EPI at the moment, but hopefully we can do studies and implement that aspect as well. Then we had critical care. With our colleagues with critical care medicine, we had a beautiful workshop, 1-day workshop on critical care, improving the knowledge base of our colleagues as well as our patients. And then with marked collaborations throughout the year, we were able to have a beautiful academic program. We were traveling to Ampara, about 300 miles away. We were traveling to Vavuniya, we were traveling to Puttlam, we were traveling to Gaul, we were traveling to Kandy. So during the last year, we had a lot of peripheral meetings as well. So it not only helped to educate our peripheral doctors, and they would probably never heard the thoracic surgeon in front of them talking. For example, in Vaunia, we had 4 thoracic surgeons talking in front of them. So we had a lot of colleagues in the council as well as our membership, where we were able to go there. Sometimes we started around 8 p.m. in the night, reach at around 4 a.m. in the morning, do the lectures at about 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. and after that we have a little bit of a camaraderie, going to places that we would enjoy as well, and then come back. Sometimes we don't have that time, but the amount of effort and the sacrifices that our colleagues did in conducting these peripheral events are immense, and they have borne fruit. We have overhauled the complete college website, and it is now fully functional, and we were able to do it, and actually most of the registrations we were able to do it online, and we have the college journal there, which we'll be launching in a few moments, and then we have various types of data, who we were, and anyway, if anyone would love to learn about pulmonologists in Sri Lanka, so I would invite them to visit our website. So I'm here today because of several institutions and several people. I was born in Badulla, and it said that I was a forceps delivery in 1975. But our healthcare system was developed even at that time to have me delivered, hopefully without any complications. So we had this free health system, and at the same time we had the education system. I'm a proud product of St. Thomas's College, Bandarwala, from pre-grade up to the A-level. And we have another alumni from St. Thomas's College, Bandarwala, Dr. Kirti Gunasekara. He's one of my idols up to the O-levels, and then he actually started at Royal College, Colombo. So already has produced 2 pulmonology presidents and 1 CCP, College of Physicians presidents. So this college gave me everything. There was no, it was a Christian college, there was no discrimination. I was in the Kaya, I was in the Bhaktigi, I was given the house captain post, I was given the senior prefect post, I was adjudged the best actor, I was adjudged the best all-rounder in this school without any discrimination of me being a Buddhist. And I'm thankful for my college and its teachers, whom I'm really glad to have in the audience, the headmaster, as well as one of the most senior teachers, Dr. Manchanayaka, who taught me art. Then, in the year 92, after O-levels, I came for an exhibition in the Peradeniya Medical Faculty. And that is the time that I thought I would somehow come to the Peradeniya Medical Faculty. And I have thoroughly enjoyed each and every moment at Peradeniya. And I think there are many august audience, including Professor Mandagedara and many on the podium today, who are proud alumni of the Peradeniya Medical Faculty. And some are actually teachers like Tuminda, who are currently teaching the students there. So again, I'm happy to have and proud to have the Dean, who came all the way from Kandy to grace this occasion together with his lovely wife, Dr. Indu, and thank you very much for being here. So you can see a familiar face. So I was under Dr. S. Mangaleshwaran as a house officer. I learned a lot from him. Then as a registrar, I was under Dr. Harit Vinuratna. I unfortunately, with the busy schedule, I couldn't find photographs of him. I'm sorry about it. But then my life changed. So I was under Professor Dishanta Mandagedara, my mentor, as a senior registrar in respiratory medicine, who have taught me everything I know, probably the attitudes as well. So, and so we are trying to, I'd like to pay homage, especially to them, and I'm really proud to share the same podium with you, sir, today. And I had the opportunity of learning from actually he was from Malaysia, who has been to United Kingdom, Professor Reginald, who guided me during my foreign training at Worcestershire. So I will not be here if not for my staff from various hospitals. I was actually started my consultant career in base district general hospital in Varelia, far away, then to Badulla, which was I was proud of because I was serving my hospital which I was born, then Ratnapura. I think sir is very familiar with it, but Ratnapura is, I think, your hometown, sir. Right? And then after that, now in Kalutara. So each and every staff member, I would love to remember with gratitude, and they are my family away from home. Right? So whatever we do, we need support. So I would like to mention, because I think people who selflessly, without any hidden agendas, should be appreciated. It's Mayadunne, Takshila, Janaka, Chintaka, and all his teams, including the photographs that I have put. Thank you very much for standing beside me during the last year and helping me amongst many other colleagues from the industry who has helped me. So this is you. And I can't say enough to say thank you to all my colleagues who have been supportive to me throughout the years. So I was a weekend father, sometimes not even a weekend father, to my children. But I thought, I hope that they understand. And I'm happy that they are making me proud by achievements. And at the moment, we have actually, my son is doing well in computer science, and the daughter has made me proud by being the second president at my home. But I think that Nilanthi is having a tough time. Nilanthi is my ardent critique, my best friend, and my guide wire. In every problem I face, I usually give a call to her and tell her that. And usually he guides me. And he by herself academically achieved the maximum being a professor of microbiology while looking after 2 children and bring them up to a level that both of us can be proud of. So I don't get the chance to say thank you because I don't usually say thank you, or it's the chance. Right. So my mother, Chandra Dalaya Disanayaka, my late father, Mr. Senarath Disanayaka. They guided me, they nurtured me to this level. Together with my brothers and sisters, I have 4 beautiful sisters and 1 very talented brother, who unfortunately I only have 1 sister today in Sri Lanka, but all the others are in foreign countries, but they are doing well. I'm happy of the family that I had. But at the final aspect, I would like to say this: without this gentleman, Mr. C.W. Kannangara, most of us will not be here today. Even my father, which I showed you previously, is a proud product of Poramadulla Madhya Mahavidyalaya. It's in Hanguranketa, and he's a proud product of that. He learned, he flourished because of the Madhyamala system, and because of that, he was able to give us a good education. And most of us, when we look at our histories, either us or our mothers or fathers have benefited from the free health system as well as the free education system that Sri Lanka has provided. And thankfully, because of them, because of the free healthcare system as well as the free education system, we are standing here today. And for that, I have a tremendous gratitude to these stalwarts as well as the population of Sri Lanka. My women and women, from each kilo of rice, they have contributed to my education, to my health. And that is why we in Sri Lanka today try to pay back as much as possible in the best possible way that we can, achieving the heights that we were able to do and delivering a care that is none second to world standards. And with that, I would like to end my presentation. And hopefully you will have a fascinating entertaining and educationally stimulating RESPIRE 2025. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your comprehensive reflection of the past year and for sharing those wonderful sentiments. Ladies and gentlemen, next to signify South Asian collaboration, building bridges across nations, we'd like to take a moment to acknowledge and appreciate the invaluable support we receive from the regional partners in our collaborative efforts in respiratory care. While we thank you all for endorsing our sessions, we are delighted to have representatives from these nations present with us today. To begin with, I would now like to invite Professor Maqbool Ahmad Lanka, the Secretary General of the Pakistan Chest Society, to speak a few words.
Thank you, Honorable Chairpersons, distinguished guests, respected colleagues and friends. It's a great honor for me to stand before you today as a General Secretary of Pakistan Chess Society at RESPIRE 2025. RESPIRE is a remarkable forum where we gather to share knowledge, strengthen alliances, and advance of pulmonology for the benefit of our community. The theme of my talk, collaboration of South Asia and building bridges across nations, is relevant more than ever. The challenges we face don't recognize the borders. The challenges like air pollution, COPD, asthma, TB, as discussed earlier by the President, they are shared concern of the area. And these challenges demand a united response. A response that transcends the political differences, the national boundaries, and instead focusing on the well-being of over 1.9 billion people of this region. Why this collaboration is required? As in the presentation of President, I saw all the topics which were presented were the same as we were suffering in Pakistan. So we have the common problems. South Asian countries carries disproportionate burden of the respiratory diseases. So by collaboration on research, on clinical guidelines, treatment protocols, so we can ensure that every person will receive evidence-based and high-quality care. So air pollution, a silent killer. South Asian countries host some of the most polluted cities in the world, like Lahore, Delhi, which are affecting millions of the people. So by joint regional policies to reduce the emissions, improve the air quality, raising the awareness campaigns can have the lasting impact on the respiratory related problems, diseases. Again, the pandemics have taught us that the diseases do not respect the borders, like COVID, monkeypox. So these diseases have highlighted the need of collaboration. So collaboration will definitely help us out in coping with these diseases. We can share the real-time data. We can discuss the preparedness, regional preparedness, and coordinated responses. So in this way, we can information faster and implement the timely intervention. So in this regard, what can we do? Especially in academic and research participation. So establishing or developing South Asian Research Consortium to work on multi-center trials, real-world studies, and AI-driven solutions. Again, we can develop regional guideline treatments that is tailored to our needs, especially for population genetics and socioeconomic conditions, environmental conditions. They should be tailored. So we should not depend on the other countries' guidelines. So that's why this academic collaboration is necessary. Again, in training and building capacities, by exchanging programs for fellowships, researchers, pulmonologists, that brings the researchers and scientific, environmental scientists and pulmonologists together. Even by conducting joint CMEs, seminars, conferences, to enhance the skills in bronchoscopy, interventional pulmonology, critical care medicine. Also, we can create a shared platform for telemedicine and remote consultation. So one area, expertise of one area can guide or help the complex cases of another area. And again, the public health initiatives are also necessary. Launching tobacco cessation campaigns and raising awareness campaigns at regional level. Again, as the air pollution is a big concern of these South Asian countries, so South Asian Air Control Action Plan can help us out in coping with this air pollution. Today, I urge each one of you to move beyond the national boundaries and embrace collaboration. Pakistan Chess Society is ready to play a key role in shaping a unified regional health agenda for this region. So let's join hands, build bridges, and forge a future where no one suffers from the preventive lung diseases just simply because of where they are born. So thank you from my end.
Thank you very much, sir. Could you please remain on stage to accept this token of appreciation presented to you by the President of the College, signifying our collaborative efforts. Thank you very much. Next, I have the honor of inviting Dr. Subhakar, Chair, International Affairs of the Indian Chest Society, to speak a few words.
Good evening. I'm not from Kandy. My last name is Kandy. Actually, when asked why my last name is Kandy, my forefathers are from the Kandy place in Sri Lanka. So I have some association with this Sri Lanka. Respected President of the Sri Lanka College of Pulmonologists, Dr. Niranjan Disnake, Chief guest of today's evening, the Secretary for Health, Dr. Ani, a good friend of India, Dr. Dushyant, is there always with us in every conferences, the Anita Simmons, the guest of honor, and other dignitaries on the dais. At the outset, I thank you for inviting me to this RESPIRE 2025. On behalf of the Indian Chess Society, it gives me an immense pleasure to extend our heartfelt congratulations and warm wishes on the eve of this spectacular event, RESPIRE 2025. This landmark event not only underscores the college's unwavering commitment to the advancing field of pulmonary medicine, but also serves as an inspiration to the global respiratory community. India and Sri Lanka share the geographic and climatic similarities impacting the respiratory health care. I think of widely elaborated various respiratory health problems in Sri Lanka. We do have the same respiratory problems. Today, the world is a global village. And there is a cross-border transmission of infections. And it needs a concerted effort. Hence, we have comparable healthcare respiratory challenges calling for a collective action. It is in this spirit of shared purpose we should take a historic step forward. I must thank you for coming out with this proposal of formalizing a consortium of two nations. I think we have to extend, in fact, Indian Chess Society is extending this consortium to other SAARC countries also, because the problems are same of all the SAARC countries. So we have to extend this to other countries also. I will take the initiative and bring the other countries also to this consortium from Indian Chess Society. The vision of this consortium is to create a unified, collaborative, pioneering platform that brings together pulmonologists from both the nations in advancing the respiratory health care through research, innovation, education, and policy advocacy. This mission of this consortium is to establish the first ever regional consortium of pulmonology. The nations, of course, now other nations are also joining this consortium, to have a synergistic research tailored to the unique respiratory challenges, strengthening the regional healthcare infrastructure through organizing joint training programs, workshops, and academic initiatives. I understand from your presentation there is a gray area, there is infrastructure in the critical care is not up to the mark in Sri Lanka. We can also work together how to bring that infrastructure, particularly the same problem for post-TB sequelae and TB infections. You must have a dedicated the ICU care, the infective ICUs. And one more area is the interventional pulmonology. I boast myself today, Hyderabad is the world capital of interventional pulmonology. Simultaneously, there one international event is going on in Hyderabad. I'm supposed to be there, but I have committed to Niranjan. I have attended this program. The mission is to establish the first ever regional consortium of pulmonologists from both the nations to foster synergistic research tailored to the unique respiratory challenges, strengthening the regional healthcare infrastructure. This consortium also aims to establish a regional think tank. We have to develop a regional think tank to advocate region-specific guidelines and policies. I think my friend also has highlighted this the need for having a concerted guidelines of the regional guidelines. We should not follow the national guidelines given by European societies and American Thoracic Society, which may not be relevant to our region. We must have a region-specific guidelines to develop, and we will be there with you in formulating those guidelines. And we also look forward to bring out a journal. I think I am very happy to know that you are coming out with the journal. We can have a regional consortium journal together, and it carries more weightage. We can have a regional journal, pulmonary medicine, to publish the groundbreaking research of this consortium. This consortium envisages to develop online teaching programs, fellowships for young pulmonologists to bridge the gaps in expertise and technology adoption. I have also an idea to explore the opportunity to liaison with the governments. I am very happy to know that your government is very proactive. So, to implement policies on air pollution, tobacco cessation, and early detection and prevention of pulmonary diseases. It was unfortunate to know that even in this era also, I came to know that people are dying from asthma. Asthma is such a preventable disease in spite of that. And TB also, people are dying. I think we have to address these issues with the regional consortium. This initiative will also strive for enhancing the public awareness. I think, Niranjan, there's a public awareness. They are saying that people are using the relievers instead of using a combination of so. And not only the relievers, some people still taking tablets. They are averse to taking inhaled medications. I think this can be achieved only through public awareness and community engagement. I look forward to meaningful and valuable connections during this phenomenal event, RESPIRE 2025, which provides to enhance our collective understanding and improve patient care across the Southeast Asia. As we collaborate the achievements and milestones of Sri Lankan College of Pulmonologists during this RESPIRE 2025, I reaffirm with all the emphasis at my command, we move with you shoulder to shoulder in bringing a respiratory health-free problems. Working RESPIRE, wishing RESPIRE a tremendous success and looking forward working closely with you to make the proposed consortium a reality. let us work together. I think I come with the theme of the conference, the equity in respiratory health for a right to breathe. I think we have a right, the fundamental right to breathe. And to create a lasting impact on millions of lives. Thank you. Jai Bharat, Jai Sri Lanka.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your valuable sentiments. I would also like to ask you to remain on stage to receive this token of appreciation presented to you by the President of the Sri Lanka College of Pulmonologists. Thank you. And next, representing regional partners, I would like to invite Dr. Mohammed Abdus Shakur Khan, the Treasurer of the Bangladesh Lung Foundation, to speak a few words to this audience.
Honorable Chief Guest, Secretary of Health Affairs, Sri Lanka, respected President, Sri Lanka College of Pulmonologists, guest of honor, other dignitaries on the stage, and definitely learned audience in front of me. It is my great pleasure to be here as the special guest and invited from the Sri Lanka College of Pulmonology by the President and give me a scope to say something in this August gathering. Bangladesh Lung Foundation, that what I belong, that is my organization. It is the umbrella organization in Bangladesh among the pulmonologists. We have good number of pulmonologists in my country, but we have so many challenges to combat the lung diseases and challenges what our president of this college already mentioned. The challenges are also same in my country. Challenges in treating or managing the diseases, respiratory diseases, as well as challenge is the climate change and the air pollution also. We actually work on lung health, but it's a big field because at least 5 to 6 major diseases of lung we are facing several problems, big problems regarding the management and supplying the support, that is the drug and others. As because in my country, almost more than 70% people are getting support, health support from the private sector, government only 30%. It is big problem for us because already previous two speakers along with Mr. President mentioned that so many problems in managing and defining all types of health related, actually lung health related problems. Being the regional country, Bangladesh also facing many more problems what Mr. President already described here. I don't want to elaborate my speech more, but one thing Bangladesh Lung Foundation believes that knowledge is power, experience always strengthens the power. But if this knowledge and experience remain within ourselves, then nobody will get the more benefit from this knowledge and experience. As because we are the people in same region where we share same type of environment, same type of air quality, same type of almost management and the government support. So we need more collaboration among our countries like Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, India and other our regional countries. Before joining this program, I have heard and I become happy to know that you were thinking to form a regional body who will work together, share their knowledge among themselves, and will do for future planning for combating this disease problem as well as this pollution and other related regional problems. Yes, disease does not limited within the boundaries. Many more diseases spread among the boundaries, and from one country to another country, this disease is spread. But until now, what we are doing, actually, our country, like Bangladesh, we are following some guideline of the common or major diseases in my country that is originated from Europe, America, UK, etc. But we are the country, these countries have some dissimilarity with that first world countries. And we have similar economy also. Similar support from the public sector, that is the government sector, we are getting. So we need to enrich ourselves. How it is possible? Yes. Lung Foundation, since its birth, it works on lung health to develop the disease management protocol, study protocol. So many surveillances and studies we have conducted, but this is widespread in my country, but there is not such body to share our friend countries in this region. In this regard, I strongly believe if there is a body where our friend countries of similar environment take and work together for this problem and for future program, then we will get benefit and we all together will win in this situation. Bangladesh Lung Foundation is ready to join such type of platform where there is good bridging, where there is good hope, where there is good future, and where there is a chance of exchange of knowledge, experience. What I mentioned earlier, knowledge is power, experience strengthens the power, and without dissemination of knowledge and experience, it will not be flourish, such type of flourishment. So we need to gather knowledge ourselves, we need to gather experience ourselves, and ultimately sharing it among our friend countries. I must thank again the organizations who are responsible for this August ceremony, that is RESPIRE 2025, and I must thank Mr. President again to invite me and honor me and my organization Bangladesh Lung Foundation. I must wish the good success, best success of RESPIRE 2025. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your thoughts and best wishes with us. Please do stay to accept this token of appreciation, signifying our partnership and friendship for the future. Thank you. And finally, I would now like to invite the Vice President of the Malaysian Thoracic Society, Dr. Lalita Perasamy, to receive a special token of appreciation acknowledging the relationship and collaboration between the two colleges by the President of the Sri Lanka College of Pulmonologists, Dr. Niranjan Dissanayake. Thank you very much to all our regional leaders who came on board and shared their valuable insights with the audience today. Next, ladies and gentlemen, is the address by the guest of honor this evening, Professor Anita K. Simmons, Professor of Respiratory Medicine and Sleep Medicine, Imperial College London. To introduce our guest speaker to this esteemed audience, I would like to invite Dr. Sachin Seneviratne, Joint Secretary of the Sri Lanka College of Pulmonologists.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies about my voice in advance. So it is my great pleasure to introduce to you Professor Anita Simmons, who is an icon in the field of respiratory medicine. So she is currently serving as an honorary consultant respiratory and sleep physician at the Royal Brompton and Hillview Hospitals. She is the Emeritus Professor of Respiratory and Sleep Medicine of National Heart and Lung Institute, Imperial College London. She is also the Harvey Librarian of the Royal College of Physicians. So she has been the author of many publications and has produced many guidelines and is truly one of the world authorities in non-invasive ventilation. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence today. We would love to hear a few words from you. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed for that introduction. It's a huge pleasure and honour to be here, and I too must thank our President, Dr. Dissanayake, the whole of the organising committee, our past presidents, members of council, and of course guests and esteemed members of the audience. This is an absolutely fantastic congress. The programme committee deserves an award, I think, and we're looking forward to 2 days of cutting-edge pulmonology, and I'm also very much looking forward to the lecture on aspergillosis that's coming up shortly. On a personal note, I took part yesterday in a workshop on non-invasive ventilation in neuromuscular disease and chest wall disease, which was expertly organised by Drs. Widana and Wadasinghe. And I really enjoyed the enthusiasm and knowledge of the participants. It was also a particularly important workshop because it was the combined endeavours of the College of Pulmonology and the Association of Neurologists, and we had adult and paediatric neurology colleagues there, and great discussions afterwards. I hope we can take that forward tomorrow morning for a session at 7 a.m. when we're discussing streamlining home ventilation management with colleagues, working together on best delivery options to improve non-invasive ventilation for Sri Lankan patients. What I'd like to do now is briefly cover two historical aspects. We've heard a lot about the very important topics of air pollution, smoking cessation, lung cancer, asthma and COPD, and very eloquently discussed, but as you just heard, I recently took up the role of Harvard Librarian at the Royal College of Physicians, London. It's not quite being a librarian, you have access to the ancient books, but also to the museum and importantly to the archives. And so I took the opportunity to look in the archives and see what was there of information from the past over the last few centuries between our countries, Sri Lanka and the United Kingdom. Not surprisingly, there was a lot there to see. There were fantastic records, in fact, dating back to the late 1700s and 1800s, looking at comparative data from hospitals across Sri Lanka on malaria, also on mental health disorders. Also, you won't be surprised to hear that what I came across pretty quickly was the work of Dr. Chris Daza Oragoda, who is memorialised in the inaugural lecture today. Sadly, as we know, he died in 2020. But he truly was a polymath. He was a pulmonologist who had a special interest in occupational lung disease following exposure to cinnamon, graphite, sulfur dioxide and ilmenite. And of course, as you all know, and it's strange for me to be telling you this, but I think there are some important messages perhaps for our guests and visitors here. He wrote the seminal textbook, The History of Medicine in Sri Lanka, which was published in 1987. And he was managed to weave in not only Western aspects of medicine, but also traditional cures and cares. And he was a wise folklorist and a really early pioneer of conservation. I know virtually everyone in the audience will also know about some of his magnificent detective work, particularly in a story almost worthy of Sherlock Holmes, in discovering why some of his pulmonary TB patients experience regular episodes of flushing, urticaria, headache and palpitations, but these were occurring regularly on certain days of the week. And he was able to identify that these were patients who were on isoniazid, and isoniazid actually blocks monoamine oxidase and also some of the histamineases, and that was why when they ate on a particular day of the week skipjack tuna with high levels of histamine, they experienced these symptoms. And much other really brilliant work that he did. Also in the archives, I came across the story of the opening of the Ceylon Medical College in 1893, and also very early on the first female medical graduate of that college, who started right at the beginning, and she qualified the first female licentiate in 1898, and went on to work briefly and study in Scotland, where she became a member of the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons, and then came back to Sri Lanka and worked in a new women's hospital for the rest of her life. This is Hilda de Boer. She was of mixed Burgher and Sri Lankan heritage, and not only did she work for the rest of her life in that women's hospital, but she devoted most of her time to the training and education of others. And that was the first female in medicine, but also there's so much that Sri Lanka has done with first amazing work in public health medicine, where you've been a pioneer, not least in the brilliant work in malaria eradication. And also I was hearing too really high rates of vaccination in Sri Lanka. My last point is, I don't think anyone appreciates long speeches, is that the subtitle of this conference is Equity in Respiratory Health for the Right to Breathe, and this is so important. With the European Respiratory Society, we've been working with the World Health Organization on a report on chronic respiratory disease, since surprisingly there has not been a recent report on chronic respiratory disease. There have been many on cardiovascular disease, obesity, and so on. This report is due publication in the spring this year, but as we know, the WHO is under threat with its funding, and so I'm not clear what's going to happen with that publication. Also under threat are activities with our colleagues at the Centre for Disease Prevention and Control, the NIH, and other aid organisations worldwide. So I think all the more reason for us to work together at this fantastic conference in the best interests of our respiratory patients. Thank you again. Rahona is Thuthi. Thank you.
Madam, please accept this little token symbolizing a lot that Sri Lanka holds, especially if you go out and see the beautiful wildlife you offer, as a reminder of your visit, as a fond little gift that you can cherish when you go home. And thank you very much for bringing out this little gems of history and for stimulating this conversation for the future. Thank you once again. Next, ladies and gentlemen, we have the address by Dr. Asila Gunawardena, Director General of Health Services, as our guest of honor this evening. I would now like to invite Dr. Upul Pathirana, the Joint Secretary of the College, to introduce him.
Thank you very much. So it is my pleasure to introduce our second guest of honor, Dr. Asila Gunawardena, Director General of Health Services. Dr. Asila Gunawardena, an alumnus of Badulla Uva College and Badulla Central College, excelled in both academics and sports, including hockey and cricket. He entered the University of Peradeniya in 1984, completing his medical education while earning university colors throughout his undergraduate years. Dr. Gunawardena began his medical career as a district medical officer in Badalkumbura in 1994. He has held several key positions in healthcare, including medical officer of health, regional malaria officer, regional director of health services, medical superintendent of base hospital, and directors of teaching hospitals. He holds a master degree in medical administration as well as diplomas and master degrees in Buddhist studies and also business administration. He is currently pursuing a PhD in Buddhist studies. Dr. Gunawardena has received both local and international training in various fields, significantly contributing to his work in developing healthcare systems and institutions. He has won numerous national and international productivity awards and is one of the most senior medical administrators in this country, with extensive experience in both preventive and curative healthcare sector. It is now my privilege to invite Dr. Gunawardena to share a few words with us. Over to you, sir.
Good evening to all of you. Today's chief guest, Dr. Anil Jasinga, Secretary to the Health Ministry and the Mass Media. And the guest of honor, Professor Anita Simmons, keynote speaker, Professor David Jamie, and all the other guests from overseas. And Dr. Niranjan Dissanayake, the President of College of Pulmonologists, and the Secretary to the College, and Professor Dushanta Madegidara, the Senior Professor of Medicine, University of Vayamba, and all the other past presidents, council members, all the ministry officials, all the other professional colleges representatives, all the UN representatives, all the professors, all the consultants, medical officers, and all the media people, ladies and gentlemen. It is both an honor and a privilege to stand before you today as the guest of honor at RESPIRE 2025. This gathering is a testament to our shared commitment to a world where every individual, regardless of their background, has the right to breathe freely and live healthy life. The theme of this year's conference, Equality in Respiratory Health for Right to Breathe Free, resonates deeply with me. Breathing is most fundamental act of life, yet for millions around the world, it remains a daily struggle. Air pollution, occupational hazards, lack of access to healthcare, and socio-economic disparities have created a world where the simple act of breathing is not a universal right, but a privilege for some. Respiratory diseases are significant global health concern which pose a complex challenge impacting societies, healthcare, and economics of the worldwide. Conditions like chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, asthma, pneumonia, and tuberculosis contribute significantly to illnesses and healthcare costs. From 1990 to 2090, total deaths and prevalence of chronic respiratory diseases have increased by 28% and 39% respectively. Based on the latest data available in 2019, the chronic respiratory diseases were the third leading cause of death globally, responsible for 4 million deaths and affecting nearly 500 million people. COPD and asthma are the most common among them. COPD alone accounts for 3.3 million deaths. It is estimated that number of COPD cases among those aged 25 years and older will increase by 23% from 2020 to 2050, approaching the figure 600 million patients with COPD by 2050. Further, the diseases of infectious nature, such as lower respiratory tract infections, COVID-19 and tuberculosis, are among top 10 leading causes of mortality in the past few years. We shouldn't forget that the infectious disease with epidemic and pandemic potential continue to be the global health challenge. In the last century, influenza originated avian, swine, severe acute respiratory syndrome, coronavirus, and the Middle East respiratory syndrome, MERS, were the most damaging respiratory infections for human beings all over the world. The global trends in infectious respiratory diseases in 2023 indicated that SARS, influenza, and respiratory syncytial virus were co-circulating widely, though it varied among different WHO regions. It is worthwhile to note in 2023 the total of 1.25 million people died from tuberculosis, while 8.2 million were newly diagnosed with the disease. TB has secured its position being the world leading cause of deaths from a single infectious agent back following 3 years, which it was replaced by coronavirus disease, that is COVID-19. Tuberculosis was also the leading killer of people with HIV and major cause of deaths related to antimicrobial resistance. Respiratory disease have a major impact on Sri Lankan health system. Together, chronic respiratory diseases, pneumonia, caused the highest number of hospital deaths in 2017. The burden of lung diseases, the BOLD survey revealed an overall prevalence of chronic obstructive pulmonary, that is COPD, was 10.5% among Sri Lankan adults aged over 40 years. Around 17,000 men who are reported to have cancers annually, 10% are having lung cancers. Further, despite commendable progress in our healthcare, tuberculosis remains a significant public health challenge with an estimated incidence rate of 63 per 100,000 population. That means 14,000 cases per year. The case notification rate has been stagnated